driveway tile too.
Okay.
Yeah, I like how the other plumbers don't cover their holes on their machines, and then they rip that rooster tail up the wall.
Yeah.
Come on. Now, as far as James lining, I will have to call and talk to James about this, because I don't know if they've ever lined anything where they actually have a knock-in service at 12 o'clock. Because it's not like that pipe is sitting flush to the top.
Yeah.
It's actually protruding, sir, about that much.
Really?
Correct.
Okay. Wow.
So once again, just ignore the pile of string.
Oh, maybe that was roots or something.
Nah, that's my string. Because see, normally you can have a skid on the camera, which will help elevate off the flow line a little bit of the bottom of the pipe.
Yep.
But with the house trap, it doesn't quite work out that way. Could you do me a favor, sir? Turn that sink off.
Yep.
And we'll let some of this water die down a little bit. Thank you. So yeah, the city should have definitely at least put a clean out in. But I would rather dig, or somebody dig
Further down there.
in that grass area at 5 foot than, you know, undermine the, because that ditch has already been dug, and those are the worst ditches to dig in.
Really?
Yes, it makes the soil very unstable and not safe at all.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of probably no coincidence that that's like right underneath that little tree right there. That little,
Mm-hmm.
dogwood tree.
Because you could run whatever blade you want down this, and on a 6-inch line, that's going to be like throwing a hot dog down a hallway. It will never...
Yeah, it just won't even.
Nah, it won't even touch a big chunk of this line. Because see, you got roots right there that are growing in at 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Oh, you haven't seen anything yet. Just wait. You've got roots growing in there. You can kind of see those off in far, far away land. There's another joint. Like I said, they're about every 4 foot. So that joint looks good. There's an offset right there. You can see the lip. That's why you start holding that water in that little bit of a low spot. There's another joint. That looks like... No, that's not one. That's just playing mind games. I thought maybe you had a split right there, but you don't. And then you've got roots growing in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big one. Man. And that, your jetter didn't clean it right. Like, what would you take? You'd have to get a big blade.
The head that I would typically use would kind of help destroy those quite a bit.
Okay.
I mean, do you understand there's no method of drain cleaning that will ever make those roots completely go away?
Yeah, you'd have to line it right.
It would, yes, sir.
You'd have to cut them out and specify and line it.
Yep. And then here's that clay to the SDR, which is where they dug over in that flower bed area. So that's at 37-ish. And then there's a coupling.
Yep.
Right there. So they almost did 10 feet. Almost.
Wow.
2 foot short.
Okay.
And then that's where they pipe back on to the clay upstream. And see, and that's the other thing. So that clay, with it being in 4 foot sections, they can walk it. Because you got to remember, back when these houses were built, we didn't have the fittings that we have today. They didn't have 11s, 22s, 45s, 60s. So what they would do is they would do what's called walking the hub. So they would put the pipe into the spigot of the hub,
Okay.
and then if they needed to start turning it, they would just cant it ever so slightly. Go 4 foot, cant it ever so slightly, and then they would gradually start wandering off. So there's another one. Small offset on the bottom with root intrusion on the side there. There's the other joint.
Look at those. So that was coming in among
Yes, sir. And there's another joint with a little piece of clay laying in there, right there. And then here's that 90. There's that turn.
Okay, and it was like a 45, right? I think.
Yeah, it's kind of like a long turn 90. It's a very long sweep.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's not like a regular, you know what I
like
mean?
you're used to
Yes, sir.
modern plumbing. Okay.
And then that tub there's got a gap, or what we call a separation. So this part here should be touching this here.
Okay.
And that's going to be most likely from the roots that are growing in at 12 o'clock, 9, and 3.
Okay.
And then it's putting so much pressure on it, it started pulling it, or trying to separate it apart. And you got some growing there. Some more growing in there. So all the guys were doing when they were coming out here and cleaning it, they were just punching holes in it.
Yeah, just
For
whatever
years.
was holding it
For we got 7 years worth of.
probably who knows before that. I don't know.
Correct. Oh, look at that. Yep. There's a big one.
Man. Wow.
That's big.
Where's that?
That is, we're coming back towards the porch
Okay.
area. Oh, it just, yeah. There's another one just growing.
Are you still in the clay?
Yep, we're still in clay. And then it's got an offset there, you can see it. That one's an offset on the right side at 12, 6, and 3. So that pipe's kind of shifted this way, or that downstream one is shifted. There's a crack, some chips, another crack right there. You can see it.
Yep.
And that's from that hub. And it's still cracked. You can see it there.
Okay.
And it's rolling up this way towards 3 o'clock. And then boom, there it is. So here's our pipe that's punched in. See it?
Yep.
That is either, and it's so hard to, because see how it's nice and smooth right there? I know my stinking date's in the way. But you see how it's just perfect circular pattern right there? Because if that was actually part of the top of the pipe, it would be pushing like this. Or if it was trying to collapse, it would be doing this. It would be pushing and rolling in. This is just straight in.
Yeah, it's just been set there like that.
Yep.
Since when they dropped it in.
Mm-hmm. And they either did that with a hammer or a core drill. They've done it with one of the two. But that sure looks like that thing's been penetrated right there at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where those roots are growing in at.
Yeah, around the side of it.
Yes, sir. And that's at that last dot mark.
Yep.
On your porch.
The one where everybody was stuck at.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So my guess is when they were running it, because the cable never hits the same spot twice. So when it was going around, it could be that if they had a heck of a bend on the end of the cable, they could have been locking up on that piece. And then there's your turn coming back towards us. And you see them all?
Mm-hmm.
And even the jetter with just that one nozzle is only going to be able to get so much. Because it's literally just going, yeah, it's just sitting there winging around.
Okay.
So this is your cast iron, this is your clay, this is what we call your building connection.
Okay.
And this is just going to be right outside.